My name is David Didrikson. I'm the owner of Willow Books and Cafe. I'd like to welcome you all. Hopefully many of you have been here before. Is there anyone who hasn't been in the store before? Oh, well, welcome. Okay. We have a lot of regulars. These annual Scary Stories contest is something that's near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons. First of all, if you like writing, that means you like reading. If you like reading, that means you like books. And if you like books, you have to love a bookstore. So it sort of all kind of goes together. And I think most of us who loved reading are kind of frustrated writers anyway, so I think that probably plays into it as well. But I have a personal reason also. The store is now going into our 17th Christmas. We opened in 1996. And one of the first events that we ever did was a short story contest for young people, and that's the Scary Stories contest. We always did it on Halloween. We thought that was a good time to do it. It was begun by my late wife, Mary Lou Condon Didrikson, and it was a very successful event for a number of years. In fact, I had a parent come to me a few years ago and say, my son won the contest one year, and he hadn't really been that interested in reading, but when he won that, he got some validation, and he really got interested after that, and he's now going for his PhD in English. And so that was one of our success stories. And unfortunately, Mary Lou passed away 4 years ago, and these stories contests sort of languished, and we weren't able to revive it. I think she'd be very pleased to see that we brought it back, and I'm hoping that we can do this for a number of years in the future. So I want to thank each of you for, on a personal level as well as a professional level, for showing up today. A couple brief announcements. We are taping this. If there's anyone here who does not want their child to be on tape on our website, you better let us know soon, because we are taping it. Mostly, I mean, we're not going to be putting this on CBS News or anything, so I don't have to worry too much. But it will be on our website, and we can always edit someone out later if you change your mind. But really, the kids are so great that we just have to record these. I will say to all of our readers, first of all of you are winners. Everyone who submitted something is a winner. In fact, everyone who even submitted a story, whether they won an award or not, did receive a gift certificate, because we think everybody who takes the time to write for something like this is a winner. You didn't have to do it. It wasn't for school. You did it because you wanted to do it, which means you are a true writer. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you. Let's give a hand to all of our entries. So we had a very large number of entries, and it was very hard to decide. They were all terrific. I'm going to hand you over to the person who has helped me revive this, and I want to thank her too, Cal Armstead, and her daughter, here's Willow. And she's going to take it from here with our winners. Congratulations to everyone.
Hi, I'm Cal, or maybe Stevie Nicks. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be today, but I'm so happy to see all of you here. This was so much fun for me. I am a writer, and actually, I have a book coming out next spring that we will have here at Willow Books. And I was just very excited to be able to be one of the judges in this contest and see these wonderful stories. You should all be so proud of yourselves. And, it takes a lot of courage to be able to put yourself out there like that. And this is going to take a lot of courage, too. But again, like David said, you have a very loving, appreciative audience here, so you can relax. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the first graders, and we're going to kind of do it in reverse order, like a beauty pageant. The third prize is first, and so on. And we have some gift certificates and some goodies and some other little prizes for you that we hope will make you happy. And so what I'm going to do right now is, I want to introduce my assistant. This is Corey, my daughter. The witch's little black cat. Everyone needs one. So the first person that I'm going to call up here is AJ Korka, and her story is called Boo to You.
It was a very dark night in the deep, dark woods. The ghost said boo to the skeleton, and the skeleton said boo to the ghost at the same time. They laughed together and went home.
This is her award. Her award and a gift certificate and some goodies. Congratulations. Our second prize winner in the first grade is James Buckaloo. I have to show you the front of this too. It's got illustrate. Oh my gosh. Is that James, or is that Death coming here? I'm not quite sure. Well, here, come on up here. You can read your story. Yeah.
One Halloween night. One Halloween night, there was a legendary vampire that lived in a cemetery. The vampire haunted every single house, and he likes to suck blood. On Halloween night, he gains more power than ever before. And that same vampire lives on today.
Yes, and congratulations. All right, the first prize winner in first grade is Nina Marchetti. There she is. If you get a chance, you should ask her if you can look at the illustrations because they are adorable.
The ghosts are floating around on Halloween night. The ghosts are floating around in their haunted house on Halloween night. We're looking for something to do. They said to each other, "It's Halloween." One ghost said, "Let's go and scare people." The same one said. Went to a street, no one was there. The second street, still no one. The third street, third street, went to a street, no one was there. The second street, still no one was there. On the third street, everyone was on that street. I went behind someone and yelled, "Boo." The ghosts still wanted to scare people. The other two went trick-or-treating. They did not want to go scare people. They wanted to get some candy. The one ghost that was to frighten people found a lot of people to scare. The ghosts that went trick-or-treating got more and more and more candy. Soon they saw each other and they were tired, so they went home to share candy.
Yeah, they had character development and story arc, all that good stuff. So that was wonderful. All right, now we're gonna bring forward the second grade winners. All right, the third prize winner for third grade is Ryan Graff. And this story made me laugh out loud, so I'm really pleased to have Ryan here. This is second grade, third prize.
When Ryan and Jaden went to the haunted museum with their parents, they had no idea that it was haunted. Then they saw a 10-foot tall mummy. The mummy was very scary. They ran out of the museum with their parents, but they forgot to close the door and the mummy came out. It chased them all the way to their car. But the mummy was faster than the speed of sound. Then it caught up with them. Luckily they were home when he caught up. They ran inside to lock the door, but the mummy came inside before they could lock the door. Then they came inside their rooms to lock them from the mummy. The mummy can flatten himself to go through the bottom of the doors. So they weren't safe after all. After that, they were safe because the mummy died because he couldn't flatten himself.
This prize and this prize. Congratulations. The second prize for second grade goes to Amy Prue.
The kids in Florida knew that the town was haunted. One day, Lindsay and Kyle went outside, but when they were outside, a ghost appeared. "I'm going to get you." Lindsay and Kyle ran around the yard until Lindsay ran to the mayor's office. "There's a ghost in my yard." Well, I should check it out. So the mayor walked to Lindsay's house. When he got there, he saw a zombie, a skeleton, 5 pirates, 20 ghosts, and 100 vampires. He screamed as loud as he could and ran back to his office. He called the president right away. The president said, I am coming right now. He drove as fast as he can. When he got there, he went to Lindsay's house. He screamed because he saw a zombie, a skeleton, 5 pirates, 20 ghosts, and 100 vampires. He ran back to his car. He got the police. The police got all the ghosts, the pirates, the vampires, the skeleton, and the zombie. Lindsay and Kyla were so happy. They liked the policeman so much they both gave the policeman $10.
You can keep your story if you want.
And the first prize in 2nd grade goes to Isha Agarwal.
Okay, speak right into it.
The noisemaker. A long time ago, there was a small village named Pilvington. There's something strange about this village. A sound, a creepy sound. The sound went boo, ooh, boo. It was heard at the beginning of every hour. Every time the sound was heard, children of all ages hid in different places. Adults covered their ears, and animals ran in all directions. But one thing questioned the villagers. Where did the noise come from? Some villagers said that there was a legend that the noise was coming from a ghost. People believed this, but one little girl in the village thought the legend was crazy. Her name was Sarah. She was 9 years old. She said, I have to know what is making this strange noise. The villagers told her many, many years ago a few people went in the search of the noisemaker, but they are never to be seen again. But Sarah did not listen to the villagers and left Pilvington with some food and water. Sarah came back in 14 days, but when she came back, the only thing she had was a note. She found the note near a creepy house outside the village. She read the note to the villagers. The note said, SOS, SOS. That's it. Everyone was confused. What did it mean? They got their best detective Swift, but he could only find 2 clues. He said that this means the noisemaker is not far from where you found the note. The noisemaker needs our help. That is why he is making the noise. Sarah said that the look of the creepy house scared her so much that she ran all the way back to Pilvington. But now since Sarah went and returned, the villagers decided to go together in the search of the haunted house. They all got scared as they saw the house and lost courage. But Sarah gathered the courage to enter the house with the help of the army. When she opened the house, she found a monster hiding in a corner of the house. She asked the monster to not make the noise. The monster said, I will stop the noise on one condition. Every day send one of your villagers to read me a story. Sarah agreed. The deal was set. Since then, one villager from Pilvington has been going every day to read the monster a story. As time went by, the monster became a good friend of the villagers of Pilvington. Nobody ever heard the sound again. The end.
So the 3rd grade winners, we are going to start with the 3rd place, which is Ronan. Ronan, Jano, right? Janae? Jano. What? Yeah? Janoy. Oh, he has a... Janata. Okay.
It was 9:25 on a nice and warm Tuesday night when 9-year-old James Grady stepped out onto his front porch. Hey guys, he called out to his friends in the street. Hi, James, came 2 voices he knew very well. They were Roman Empire and Steve O'Malley. James was wearing his favorite Jets jersey and jeans, which were torn at the knees. He thought for a moment about the time he was showing off on his bike and tore his jeans before he said, Meet me in the teacher's lounge after homeroom. Be there. But we're not supposed to go in the teacher's room, said Steve. Yeah, said Roman. What are you afraid of? A scary little monster? Teased James. No, it's just be there, teacher's lunch, after homeroom. As they sped off on their bikes, James could hear them talk about how they were gonna sneak in. "Wussy boys," he said out loud to no one in particular. As 9-year-old James walked into his room and lay on his Spider-Man bed, he looked around his room. It wasn't too big or too small. It was just right for him. He didn't have a closet, so he didn't have to worry about monsters. He hung his clothes up on a rack in the corner of his room. He soon fell asleep, and he had a grave nightmare. "Help!" cried his two friends. They were in the teacher's lounge, but it wasn't how they remembered it. There was a huge fiery hole 100 feet across and 200 feet down. A 10-foot half-man, half-lizard was under them with his mouth wide open, ready for its supper. "James, help us! I'm losing my grip!" they said as they slowly fell into the monster's ready mouth. It was the fall of the Roman Empire. Chomp! Ah! Something! Ah! Has! Ah! God! Ah! Me! Ah! James woke up with a start, realizing he was drenched in sweat. He looked around. The same Spider-Man sheepskin closet. "No head!" "I'm kidding," he thought. Phew, that was only a dream. But as he went to school, for some reason, the teacher's lounge was boarded up with caution tape and lots of boards and nails. But James doesn't take lots of precautions. As he stepped into the teacher's lounge, he saw a big 10-foot shadow, and suddenly he felt very hot. He looked around. There were bones everywhere. His stomach turned like there was a million butterflies in there. Strangely, he could hear, "Help!" Suddenly he screamed, "Ah!" A huge sound was put on the school as it was shut down. Warning, no one ever goes in and no one ever comes out. Now it's 10 years later, but strangely people still hear roars coming out of the school. And some people swear they can see a huge 6-foot spiked green tail coming out of the teacher's lounge. It oddly looks like attached to a lizard. The end, or is it? Hi, my name is James Grady. None of this really happened, kids. Don't be scared. You should write more books. It's a great way to spend time. And guitar. But anyway, my name is James Grady, and I approve this message. Paid for by James Grady, who isn't running for Senate, Democrat, or anything. Hi, James!
Made me laugh, so we had to choose him. Okay, the second prize for third grade goes to Carly. Writer would make sense, but yeah. Okay, come on up, Carly. And her story is called Haunted.
Once there was a girl named Holly. One Halloween, Holly was prancing around her neighborhood in her witch costume when she had to go home. She was proud of the fancy clear glass door that led inside her house. Her mom tucked her in when Holly heard a tap, tap, tap at the glass door. "Mom, there must be some last-minute trick-or-treaters," Holly yelled, staring out her bedroom door. Holly's mom stopped by Holly's room. "You know you have to come with me," Holly's mom said. "All right," Holly said lamely, dragging herself out of her bedroom. 5 minutes later, they were at the door. "But there's no one there," Holly stood there, wide-eyed, looking directly through the glass door. A flash of lightning struck outside, and a shadowy figure walked up the first step to Holly's porch, then the second step, then the third step, then onto the porch. Holly stepped out onto the porch and met faces with the scary figure. He had fiery red eyes, see-through skin, a grim-looking grin, and blood dripping from his see-through hands. Holly's body was shaking with fear. She ran inside screaming. Holly went into her room and put on her witch costume to blend in with the other trick-or-treaters. And then she went into her brother's room and looked in his toy box. Holly took out a Nerf gun without bullets, and she looked in the fridge and got out some of her brother's Ghost Be Gone, which Holly thought would never come in handy. She loaded the Nerf gun with the Ghost Be Gone. "Time to hunt a ghost," Holly said, tingling with both power and fear. "Yeah," she said, stepping outside. She looked hard for the ghost when a lightning bolt flashed and the ghost appeared. And Holly shot the Nerf gun, and Holly hit the ghost with the powerful liquid. The ghost got knocked out, then disintegrated. Holly cheered when a vampire appeared. She screamed and the vampire took its mask off. It was Holly's brother. She giggled, knowing that the ghost was really real. The end. Or is it?
Okay, and now we have the first prize winner for third grade, Megan Curtin.
Time to wake up, Sam's mother yelled down the hall. "I don't want to go to school," Sam groaned, but he got out of bed anyway. Sam stepped into the kitchen and had breakfast.
Then he walked to school. At school, he looked around. Everyone had their backs to him. They turned around and, grrr! Ah! Sam let out a piercing scream. There were zombies everywhere. He turned around and ran. Sam ran out of the school, down the street, and towards his house. Sam opened the door and stepped inside. He started to speak. Mom, Sam's mother turned around and, grrr! Ah! Sam screamed again. His mother was a zombie. He wanted to run, but the zombies were closing in on him. He rushed past the zombie baby before they got too close. Sam ran between two buildings and was about to hide in the trash can when a zombie jumped out. Sam woke up. It was all a dream. Sam stood up and walked downstairs. He looked in the cabinets. Sam went to see his mother. He wondered if there was any more blueberry cereal. She turned around and, grrr! Ah! There's nothing to be afraid of. It's me, your mother, she said, taking off her zombie mask. Whew, Sam sighed. Don't you remember, Mom said? It's Halloween. Happy Halloween!
Yeah, these are great readings. You guys are doing a great job. You can write and you can read them aloud. That's wonderful. These are the fourth grade winners. Olivia Kehoe is the third prize winner, but I don't think she's here. I think she had a soccer game. Congratulations, Olivia Kehoe, and she will be able to pick up her prize when she comes here. The second prize winner for fourth grade is Emma Guerin. The name of her story, The Case of the Scummy Mummy.
One Halloween night, John, Ben, and Luke were trick-or-treating together. John was dressed up as a mummy, Ben was dressed up as a zombie, and Luke was a caveman. Trick-or-treating was going great, each boy with bags full of candy. But as soon as the boys turned onto Vulture Street, they saw John, not wearing his mummy costume. "There you guys are," John exclaimed. "I've been looking all over for you." "Wait a second," Luke said. "If we weren't trick-or-treating with you, then that must have been a real mummy." "What mummy?" John asked. "The one right here." Ben pointed to the spot where the mummy used to be. Right then, Ben noticed that the mummy was gone. "Now that he's gone, let's go, while we're still alive." "No, we're not leaving," said Luke. John agreed. "Wouldn't it be amazing to hunt a real mummy?" "Well, I guess," said Ben, scared he would die. He probably went back down Main Street," John suspected. "Let's get going," said Luke, who was already halfway down the road. As soon as the boys caught up to Luke, they kept walking and walking and walking. Then they saw it. The mummy! The mummy saw them, too. John, Ben, and Luke ran up to the mummy. The mummy fought hard, but eventually John grabbed one end of the bandages, and Luke grabbed the other. They unraveled the mummy until he was just a pile of dirt. "That's one scummy mummy," Ben chuckled. The next day, the boys were in the newspaper and on television all over the world. The newspaper headline said, "Boys find out about living mummy," or "Young children defeat live mummy." The reporters asked all about the case of the scummy mummy. The end.
Okay, and the first prize winner in fourth grade is Parker Landforce. The Mysterious House is the title.
The Mysterious House. Once there were two kids named Chili and Philly. They lived on a street that had a creepy house on it. They always wondered what was inside it. One spooky Halloween, they went to the creepy house to get some candy, but nobody was there. The door was not locked, so they went inside. Once they went inside, the door shut, and they couldn't get out. They were scared and ran around trying to find an exit. They couldn't find one, so they decided to check the basement. They went downstairs and suddenly, ... They saw a ghost. It was terrible. Chili was running and Philly was screaming. They sprinted up the stairs, shut the door, and hid in a closet. Finally, when they thought the coast was clear, they went out of the closet. Sitting in front of them was ... The ghost. The ghost said, "Hi." Chili and Billy yelled, "Yikes, the ghost." The ghost said, What's wrong? Why are you yelling, and Joey and Billy said, "What do you think? We're screaming, you're you're a ghost." But the way, but the way, do you know how to get out? Here we got locked in and we really need to go trick-or-treating. The ghost said, "Here, go out this door." So they all went outside. They saw a shadow of a dog and they thought it was a werewolf. Even the ghost was scared. They ran around to the front of the house and saw lots of people in costumes asking for candy. Finally, they felt safe. They even invited the ghost to go trick-or-treating with them. Joey was a pirate, Billy was a pumpkin, and the ghost was just a ghost. They all went off and had a great night. The end.
My favorite part is, and the ghost was just a ghost. Okay, 5th grade. We had, the judges had a tough time judging 5th grade because there were some ties and some other stuff going on. So we've got some honorable mentions for 5th grade as well as for 2nd and 3rd. The first person we're going to call up to read a story is Tess Walsh. The Haunted Manor.
The door creaked open as I turned the rusty brown doorknob. I stepped 1 foot into what we, meaning George and I, called the Haunted Manor. I could smell stale bread and smoggy, muggy air. I couldn't do it, so I ran away. That night I lay in my bed, palms drenched in sweat. George lay below in his blue camouflage sleeping bag. "You sure you want to do this?" I asked him. "I'm positive," he responded. "All right," I said. Then, finally, I went to sleep. The next morning I woke up feeling confident. I crept down the ladder and tapped George's head, trying to wake him up. "George," I whispered. "George." He blinked one eye and rolled over. "Ready?" I asked him. "I'm ready. I definitely want to do this," I said. "I know," he replied. I got dressed in my blue shirt with a skateboard and my plaid shorts with the rip in the knee. I grabbed my flashlight and, just in case, my Swiss Army knife. I found George waiting on the porch. No one said anything. We just walked stiffly to Cardinal Street, turned, and kept walking. "No turning back now," George said. "Nope." I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, about to burst. My head was spinning with thoughts. My foot lunged forward to the first dusty wood-cracked step. George was already at the top. "Gee, you're fast," I wanted to say, but I kept inside. Finally, I was at the top. George's hand touched the plastic doorbell. The welcome mat read, "Early bird catches the worm." It doesn't say welcome, I thought. Ring. We waited 5 minutes for someone to open the door. Then we opened it. Inside, there were cobwebs on the ceiling and lights hung from the ceiling, too. There were bugs stuck in them. "This is creepy," I said to George. My knees were trembling, but George wasn't there. I panicked, but kept my focus on finding George. There wasn't any way to get anywhere except the door on the right, so I carefully pulled the door open. It was pitch black. "George," I screamed. Not a sound. I felt around the walls and found a light switch. Click. "Hello, my dear. Are you ready for supper?" The lady had a black cloak on and gray frizzy hair and a long pointy nose. She wagged her cane in my face. I stomped up the stairs, running as fast as I could. I was so scared I felt like I was going to faint. My heart was beating 1,000 times faster than regular. I rushed to the door, threw it open, and found George outside. "I'm sorry I got so scared," he said. "That's okay, just run." I grabbed his hand and fled out there as fast as I could. At least I know how I have the best scary story in my class. The end.
Okay, we have Riley Mullen up next, reading her story, Are You a Witch?
Are you a witch? Would you like to find out? There are several simple tests that you can use to help determine if you are a witch. Do you laugh all the time? Does it sound like, hee hee hee, my pretty? Then you have uncontrollable cackling. Finding big brown zits on your face? Well, they're warts. Do you love green food? Do you eat it so much you turn green? Can you teach a broomstick how to fly? Do you have a sudden interest in cooking? Do you have a high-pitched voice? Do you have a pet flying monkey? If you have any of these symptoms, you may wish to consult your family physician. Not that they'll help you or anything.
I understand Tyler Prue is not here. Is there someone who would like to read his story for him? We had brother-sister winners. That's Amy Prue was one of the second grade winners. And I was calling the winners, and I suddenly said, wait a minute, I just called these people. And I realized that Tyler was the winner. So this is his mom. And what's your first name? Cindy. Cindy Prue, right? Reading for Tyler.
The Alien Invasion by Tyler Prue. Once there was an alien named Mitt that ruled the planet of Meep. He was riding around in his UFO looking for other planets to take over, and he discovered a planet that we call Earth. Within the next few days, he thought he could take over Earth, but it would take a cost because he couldn't take over Earth by himself. It would take a little someone else. The someone else was his best friend, Galactico. They have known each other since they were born. Now his army was complete. They started their journey, and when they got to Earth, they decided to go into a haunted mansion. They went through the front doors, half rotted off, and then startled both Galactico and Mitt. The doors shut on their own. That scared the hot cheese out of me, said Mitt. I know, that was hot cheese scary, Galactico admitted. They both laughed. As soon as they stopped laughing, they bolted out of the closed doors, breathing heavy. They thought now would be a good time to start taking over Earth. They walked into the center of the USA. The local residents called the police to come and stop the aliens. The police came in 5 minutes, but the police were all eaten in 2 minutes. The bad thing was every time the aliens ate something, they got bigger. Then the local residents called the SWAT team. The SWAT team was eaten as soon as they got there. They got so big that they exploded, and all their green guts made all the trees' leaves turn green. That is why there are no creepy crawly aliens today. The end.
Now we have the second place winner for 5th grade, Cleo Baldumas.
Ghost Trouble. My name is Chris Wiley. I'm 10 years old. No one is willing to tell me who my past ancestors are, but I'm dying to know. Some say Wiley is a family name from an old story, so it's a mystery, and let's leave it that way for now. I woke up nice and early this morning. My eyes darted around the room until they stopped at one unfamiliar object. I walked over to the corner of my room where the object lay on the floor. It was a medicine bottle with a worn piece of cloth paper tightly rolled up inside. I took out a ruined cork that was sitting on top and slowly placed it down. Then I carefully pulled out the tattered paper and slowly unrolled it, making sure it didn't rip. I stared at the paper, unsure of what it meant. It read, Dear Christopher Staff Wiley, I know you are here. Although you may not know of my existence, I know of yours. I am buried under the ground where you lay. My dear friends, I am much older than you, as I was born in 1791. I am here, and soon you will know what I mean. Polly L. Wiley. My eyes grew wide and weary. Then I felt something nudge me. Next to me sat a dark figure of a little 5-year-old girl floating. I shrieked, Read Sally's story. Sally want to hear story, the little ghost said, floating. Sally want to hear story, the ghost girl pleaded. I ran out of the door screaming, Ghost, ghost, ghost. A tear trickled down the ghost girl's little face. Sally don't want to be scary. Sally just wants friends, she sobbed. For a second I felt badly for the little ghost, but that sadness didn't last long. I felt bad for myself, being chased by a ghost girl. Brother Jeremiah would love to play ball with you, she said. I froze. Yeah, but what if Christopher doesn't want to play with this Jeremiah dude? Anyway, I don't take recommendations from ghosts, I said. What's a dude? Sally the ghost asked skeptically. A person, I said obviously. Jeremiah died when he was 11. He loves to play with people his age, Sally said. Good for him, I said sarcastically. The little ghost ran away crying. The next day I woke up and went into my closet to put a long-sleeve shirt on. I found a doll with a missing head lying on the floor. I picked it up, and my mind went back to when I was 7. I was sitting in the living room opening presents. My present was way too big to give to you in a box, so I set it up in the garage for you to play with, my grandma said with a chuckle. I ran into the garage, but only to see a house with about 100 dolls. I was terrified of dolls. They were just so freaky. Later, after my grandma had left, I had cut every doll's creepy head off and threw them into my walk-in closet. Remembering, I dropped the doll and ran farther and farther into the dark closet. It was like a never-ending closet filled with creepy dolls. "Hi, Chris, we're coming to haunt you," one of the dolls said. I froze, then ran as fast as I could out of the closet. "I have something to tell you," my mom called. "What?" "We're related to the Wileys, a family that got buried alive by a mudslide in 1826.
Okay, that was wonderful. Now we have our first prize winner for 5th grade, Sarah Falk. The name of the story is Amber Wolf. Did you want to stand on this? Or are you tall enough? Okay.
Maybe I should move this down. A white wolf sat in a clearing. His oddly human eyes slowly drifted up to the moon. He raised his head and, as if in a dream, let out a beautiful, eerie howl. "What are you doing?" A cat slunk out of the shadows. His black fur was patchy and matted, his green eyes glowing in the moonlight. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Do I really have to do this?" the wolf replied. The cat nodded. "It is her destiny." He beckoned to the wolf and led him through the damp forest, and eventually they came to a neighborhood. Every house looked the same, square with a red roof and old-fashioned, thin windows. But one of them had a hammock outside of it. Sleeping in the hammock was a girl. She had dark brown, flowing hair and pale skin, and she looked about 13. The wolf and the cat slunk up to her. "Go on," the cat mewed smoothly. The wolf then, as gently as possible, sank his razor-sharp teeth into her arm. She screamed and opened her green eyes. The white wolf began rapidly licking the wound. His soothing tongue ebbed the pain, and her eyes fluttered closed again. "It is done," the wolf said to the cat. He turned and bounded away into the thick woods. The cat sighed. "Amber? Amber? Amber! Wake up!" the cat hissed into the girl's ear. She sat bolt upright. What have you—" she started to say. The cat was called James. James flicked his tail for Amber to follow him as he crept to the back of the house. Amber followed the strange talking cat. Her arm arched slowly where the white wolf had bitten her. The cat sat in a patch of moonlight, and as she was about to step in, the cat spoke. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." "Why?" she asked. "Would I die or something?" "Well, you know that wolf that bit you? Well, it was, not a wolf." "Well, then what was it, a frog?" she scoffed. "A werewolf," the cat said casually. "My name's James, by the way." "So then, that wolf, I'm a werewolf?" she squeaked. "Yep, it was your destiny," mewed James. "Well, then what the heck am I supposed to do then?" she shouted. "Shush, just step into the moonlight." Amber did so. She felt a tingling sensation overcome her. Claws extended from long clawed paws, her face elongated, tail twitching. She looked down at her new body. How do I look?" she asked. "Like a wolf," James said softly. His voice hardened. "Now," he said, transforming into a black wolf with one white paw. "Let's go." James whisked Amber through the dark forest, and they soon arrived at a leafy clearing. 4 wolves sat in the middle, a black one, a gray one, a dark brown one, and the white one that had bitten her. "Now, you may not like it, but it is important that you join our pack. By day, we're all cats. You, well, being bitten by ice here," James flicked his tail to the white wolf, "you will also be a cat by day. Your parents—" "I don't have parents," Amber interrupted. "I'm an orphan." "Oh," James said. "Amber, I'm so sorry." "It's okay," she replied, "and I guess I'll join your pack." And from that day on, Amber had a home and a place for her in the world. She was happy. Done.
Okay, I like like that as a happy ending. It's not so bad to get bitten by a werewolf. You get yourself a pack to live with. Now we are in our last group, the 6th graders. But okay, so we're going to start with the 3rd prize winner, Lily Travers.
Lucy breathed hard. She swallowed back the lump that had formed in her throat, trying to keep the tears back, but they spilled down her face anyway. She didn't want to move. She had lived in New York all her life, and now she was moving to an old creepy house in Iowa. Her dad had gotten a job offer there. Lucy heard the rumble of the moving truck as it pulled away from her driveway, heading towards Iowa. They all piled into their blue Volkswagen and sped off, leaving their house in the dust. When they pulled into the driveway of their new house, Lucy jumped, startled. The house wasn't as bad as it had looked in the picture. It was worse. The gray chipped shutters hung lonely and crooked from their hinges, and the door, painted a dried blood color, banged open in the wind. As the family settled into their new home, Lucy began to get interested in the attic. It had an old trunk about the size of a backpack in the corner. One day, Lucy decided to open it. She carefully lifted the metal latch and peered inside. As soon as she saw what was lying inside, she screamed and leapt back. There was a person in the trunk. She took another look and realized that it wasn't a person. It was a beautiful china doll. The doll had milky white skin with perfect blood red bow-shaped lips, glossy black hair, and a tiny sloped nose. The most peculiar thing about her was that her eyes were an icy black. Lucy noticed a piece of paper sticking out from underneath the doll. She shimmied it out. Her blood turned to ice. The paper read a twisted version of a children's song. Miss Mary Mac, 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 all dressed in black, black, black. She has a knife, knife, knife stuck in her back, back, back. She cannot breathe, breathe, breathe. She cannot cry, cry, cry. That's why she begs, begs, begs. She begs to die, die, die. Suddenly, Lucy felt like someone was watching her. She wanted to get out of there, fast. She ran down the stairs and saw her mom. It's probably just a joke, she reassured herself. Lucy's mom kissed her forehead. Sorry we have to leave you two alone tonight. We have to meet some of your father's friends. Lucy thought about the note and shivered. She hadn't told anyone about it and wondered if she should. Before she could decide, her parents were gone and Lucy was alone with her brother. She turned on the TV and flipped through channels. Lucy stopped. She cocked her head to listen. Quietly, in an eerie voice, she heard singing. Miss Mary Mac, 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 all dressed in black, black, black. It was soft at first, then as if building up confidence, it got louder and louder. Lucy bolted to her brother's room. He wasn't there. She looked everywhere, then she opened the closet. What she saw made her let out a blood-curdling scream. The next morning, the police received a call from Lucy's parents, begging them to come over. When they arrived, they sobbed and pointed to the brother's room. Police opened his closet and found 2 skins, a boy's skin and a girl's. Both were turned inside out and hanging on clothes hangers, their eyes empty and black. The police looked down at the closet floor and saw a china doll, eyes as black and empty as the children's, holding a knife covered in blood, smiling up at them.
This is why we call them scary stories, folks. Okay, the second prize winner for 6th grade is Ainsley Muir.
The 13 Horrors. She didn't want to admit it, but there was something strange about that road that scared her. Maybe it was the trees, which were either bare or had just a few dead leaves, creating a whistling sound. Maybe it was that no other cars traveled there, ever. Or maybe it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. During the day it was okay. She almost liked it, just another long, winding country road. At night there was something supernatural at work. It sent a feeling of unease down her back, as wind seemed to tell her, turn back, or they'll get you next. She ignored this feeling as this was the only way home without taking a huge detour. The first night she took the road, there was a normal shivers and dislike. There was also a guest who she didn't notice. None of them ever noticed on the first night After the car passed by, the abnormally large owl glanced one more time with his large red eyes. He had tried. She might notice next night. Deep down in his soul, he knew that this hope was useless. None of them ever noticed until their last night. The dog came next, followed by the owl. He too was humongous and had a slobbering mouth and eyes with a horrible glint. He howled at her, but no sound came out. It never did. So she remained clueless about the horrible events ahead of her. The dog never had false hope like the owl, but he still arrived on the second night. Otherwise, everything that has ever been would fall apart like an ancient chew toy. On the third night, the cat came. She purred and stretched out her large body. Her green eyes should have stood out from her matted, battle-torn black fur, but still the girl didn't notice. She might have hope, thought the cat. It's only the third night. As hard as the feline was staring at her, you might have thought she would have seen something, or at least felt a piercing glare. She did feel something odd like she had the other nights, but never turned around. Night after night after night, another one of the horrors came to stand on the side of the road. Their warnings were useless. She drove right by and never noticed anything stranger than the normal feelings and sounds. Only on the 13th night did she see the horrors. Her car broke down in the middle of nowhere. She would have gone out except that she noticed them. They were standing silently, still as stones. All 13 were lined up, watching, waiting for the story's plot to reach its climax. Suddenly the leaves on the ground began to rustle. There was no wind that night, not even a gentle breeze. Suddenly the trees moved overhead and blocked the full moon. There were no clouds that night, not even one thin wisp of fog. The vines reared up and made their move. They began to climb up the side of the car. She stayed in speechless terror as she watched the 13 horrors. Slowly vines covered the windows. Soon it was pitch black in the car, with absolutely no light at all. She screamed, a long, eerily, high-pitched, horrible, ghastly scream that would have made everyone in a 75-mile radius drop dead when it reached their ears. No one heard it. If they did, no one cared. A clock bell began to strike midnight. Dong, dong, dong. The car was slowly pulled beneath, and no one but the girl knows where. The end.
Well, the first prize winner is not here, Emily Palmer. So that is the. So let's a round of applause for Emily Palmer in absentia. The name of hers is The Fortune Teller. And so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for coming out. This was so much fun, and congratulations to all the winners. And David is going to say another word.
Keep writing, keep reading.